Hey, what's up guys, it's Fish here and welcome to this awesome Attila Total War battle on Medieval Kingdoms 1212. Today we have an awesome siege battle for you and it's got a little bit of a twist to it. So basically, I am defending the city along with Apollo in this epic 2v2. However, Apollo has gone out of the city and is kind of acting as a reinforcement army. So I have to hold off for 10 minutes and then after the 10 minutes are up, Apollo's army is allowed to start moving closer and closer to kind of reinforce the city. So it should make for a really interesting battle. I am playing as the Holy Roman Empire, Apollo is playing as Serbia. We have the English up against my front line, and then to the side we have Burgundy. And as you can see, the shooting is already starting off. It is a pretty long battle, so I'm just going to quickly run through the army comps as we get in. Just like really quickly, because it's already like a 50-minute battle and I don't want to bore you guys too much, so let's jump in. So guarding these siege towers for the English army, we have the foot knightly retinue. They're going to be pushing these bad boys up. Then behind that we have I think 6 units of retinue longbowmen, so a disgusting archer force. We even told this guy to go easy on the archers, but I guess he thought 6 was okay, which is totally cool. Then behind that is some spear militia, some of the awesome looking men-at-arms English foot infantry, and then 2 units of heavy billmen. And then he also brought 6 units of cavalry, some foot knightly retinue, some normal infantry, or some non-mounted sergeants I think they're called, along with 2 units of catapults. The Burgundy army is, I will pause it just before these siege towers go down so we don't miss anything, but for now we'll just let them move up. The Burgundy player does have 2 units of crossbowmen. Then behind that here's some of the Burgundy men-at-arms, again such an awesome looking unit. Then some Burgundy foot knightly retinue, so again just really solid infantry, nothing too bad whatsoever. This is all solid infantry. Let's pause it because we don't want to miss out on any of this, and obviously you can skip this if you just want to jump straight to the battle by clicking the annotation. Some more footmen at arms, awesome. The Burgundy army is already looking pretty tasty. More foot knightly retinue, some Pavis back here. Again, the Pavis always look perfect. Look at that, they're huge shields, really awesome. Really awesome. He's got like 4 units of them. He also has a bombard he's going to be using to taking down my towers. Then also some more foot knightly retinue, and then finally his Burgundy king over here. Oh, I love the look around their neck as well. It looks like I kind of got fur around that, but they don't. It looks really cool. Really cool. And then finally, if we look, you can see Apollo's army over there. If we look at Apollo's army, and then we'll look at my defending army really quickly. So Apollo on his front line has some Serbian archers, 4 units of them. Then behind that, he has a bunch of these black spearmen. I think that's how you pronounce it. Probably not. Again, wooden shields. These guys aren't super heavily armored, but they'll do decently. Then behind that, he has some of it. I'm not going to try and pronounce that. I don't want to offend any of you Serbians out there. Actually, it's not too hard. Frontiersmen? Is that how you do it? Maybe. So apologies if I did butcher it. But he has these guys as his front line. Then he has 2 units of halberdiers. And then finally he has his Serbian Grand Prince. And then 4 units of heavy Serbian cavalry, which again look pretty sick indeed. Look at these dudes. I love their face masks and stuff. Good old Serbian cav. I think he just has more units of them. Yeah, cool. So finally we'll look at my army. I am playing as the Holy Roman Empire. So, as me and Apollo, we get 25% less funds than the enemy because we're defending. So because of that, I've had to get a lot of cheaper units to hold the outer walls. I have, I think, 6 units of these sergeants. These are just like my cheapest infantry. They're not great, but they'll kind of act as like kind of cannon fodder and missile fodder just to kind of slow up the enemy. Then I have some more sergeants back here, 2 units of crossbowmen, 1 over here and 1 there. Then as we get further back, I have my awesome looking men-at-arms, again just such a sick Holy Roman Empire unit. Get these dudes into combat, they'll just slaughter anything that comes in their path. Then I have a unit of halberdiers, mercenary Swiss halberdiers, sorry. The Swiss are aiding us in this battle. Then behind that I have some sergeants late, so it's the later version of my cheap infantry. So these guys are my best infantry, and they've got maces and swords and stuff like that, looking very cool. Obviously have my Holy Roman Emperor just repping the purple, you know, showing off his wealth. Then finally I have some sergeants in the high period. So kind of got like the sergeants in kind of every single period, early, late and high. So that's pretty cool. And then finally I have some Pavis. Loving the look of the Holy Roman Empire Pavis. And I think that's everything. So let's get started. If not, I'm sure we'll have a look during the battle. But yeah, let's get started. So again, as I was saying, me and Apollo already have 25% less money each. So that's, I guess, 50% overall, less than the enemy. However, you know, they're very, very try-hard in this battle, which is understandable. If you come up against me and Apollo, you obviously want to beat us. You obviously want to crash us down. However, me and Apollo don't really super play for fun, like, all the time. So there's a lot of stuff, like, we could have done in this battle. Say, I could have brought cavalry and catapults and pikemen in this siege battle. You know, if I super wanted to try hard and kind of just crush the enemy. But I'm trying to also create a really cinematic, fun battle, and that tower crushing down in the background. So, you know, if you do end up coming up against me and Apollo, please don't, like, super try hard, because we're not going to be super try harding. And it's just kind of lame, because there's quite a few things in this battle where they wait to move up all their archers, and they wait to, like, moving their catapults into the city to, like, kind of get a better range on us and stuff like that, whilst just kind of waiting. Oh, sorry, I just hit my mic there. While still just, you know, not engaging our infantry, even though they already have all these advantages of kind of having more money and better troops, and the fact that Apollo isn't even in the city to begin with. You know, I do sound a bit salty because of that, but, you know, it's just kind of a bit annoying when we're, like, kind of just having fun and stuff, and then we come up against people who are super try-harding to beat us, which is understandable. As I said, you know, you do want to kind of throw us back and claim victory for sure. So I do understand it, but it's just, you know, if you come up against me and Apollo, you know, try and have fun with it. You know, try and make a cool-looking cinematic battle, because that's all we're trying to do. And look at that, they have like 3 siege towers all really close together. That looks awesome. So at the moment, my sergeants are currently fighting. I have 10 minutes to hold off until Apollo's army can move. And again, that looks really cool there. They're just all moving up. I do have my crossbowmen shooting overhead, and we also have Apollo's spearmen, or I guess his skirmishers, because he left 1 unit of skirmishers inside the city, and these guys are kind of like the advance force to tell the Holy Roman Empire that we would have some reinforcements on the way. So that's why their army is over here. That unit is over here, sorry. So at the moment, my men are going to be getting cut down. They're not going to be doing too good against this, you know, foot knightly retinue. They're just way too strong for my weakest infantry unit. And, you know, these guys are more just here to kind of just act as an outer defense. Oh, did you see that guy just get flipped over the shield? And then that dude got decapitated. Awesome. That looked crazy cool. Really, really cool. The archer fire is going to continue to go in. More people getting their heads just okay, guys, sorry about that. I just went ahead and closed a few programs down in the background because I noticed a bit of lag, but it should be a little bit better now. We're obviously fighting with like 14,000 men, so it's going to be a pretty crazy battle. But yeah, I just closed some background programs because I didn't realize I had them open, so I was actually running quite a few intensive programs by mistake, which was obviously making it a bit jumpy. So hopefully I fixed all of that now. And yeah, let's just carry on. So, you know, again, all I'm focusing here is just holding his army in place with my crappy units, kind of trying to bide myself some time. I also thought about bringing up this unit of heavy infantry. Oh no, this is actually his Burgundy men-at-arms, which is going to get an absolute beautiful charge into the back of my men-at-arms, even though they already rout. So the men-at-arms really doing well. Over here, I also have another unit in shield wall, but again, they're up against the mighty Burgundy men-at-arms. They're just going to be no match whatsoever. I do not think that these guys are going to be holding. More gates falling down, not too good there. Heads being chopped up and smashed in. That is pretty brutal indeed. But the nice thing is, like, I have a really good defensible position. If we look at some of the units I have in reserve, I have men-at-arms, I have halberdiers, I have my sergeants in the late and high period. So they're more than ready to like kind of hold back the advance. Even though I lost my outer layer pretty quickly, you know, overall it wasn't really too much of a bad kind of exchange for me, because I lost some crappy units. If we have a look, yeah, so I've lost almost. You know, I took down a lot of the enemy with me. I took down 800 of probably their like good elite troops, and I lost about 1,000 of my really bad troops. So overall, it was a pretty okay exchange, and now they're going to kind of advance their soldiers into the inner layer, which we're actually going to go ahead and just stick on triple speed. Because basically what happens now is they decide just to walk in all their archers. The Burgundy player moves in his entire army, which is cool. You know, you can move his entire army in. But yeah, they kind of move up these catapults and stuff. Actually, the battle is not fully over yet on these outer layers. But basically, when it gets to it, we'll speed the battle up a bit. Because they kind of just stand still and the battle freezes for like a couple minutes whilst they just bring in all their troops. They don't want to assault or anything. which again was kind of going back to one of my earlier points where, you know, just carrying on attacking, you have so much more money than us, you should be more than adequate to deal with my forces. And just kind of waiting to bring up all your archers and stuff is kind of just slowing up the battle, making it less fun to watch for you guys, and it's just kind of a bit, you know, a bit annoying, a bit try-hard. Which is something, you know, what I could have done in this battle was I could have brought catapults and cavalry and pikemen, but I want to have a really fun siege battle, so I'm not going to do that. So our men on the left flank, I believe, are now routing, so he can wrap completely round. And then moving, yeah, as you can see, they're moving up their catapults, moving all their archers in, which is absolutely fine to do. It's just, you know, I prefer it if they did it when everything else was going on as well. And if anything, it's in their best interest to do it, because Apollo's army, I believe, will be marching very soon as the men-at-arms give a mighty cheer. They know they're claiming victory. We have a bombard as well taking out these towers. So it's not even like the towers are helping us much. They're doing an amazing job at taking out all the towers. Oh my god, my men are just falling to the ground as this last line. I'm not sure what these guys have done. They're just like kind of facing off against each other. But I'm not going to complain. It's holding up his infantry a bit more. So the English player on this right flank is going to be moving to reclaim these gates, because they haven't made any breaches in the wall, which was, I guess, a really good point by them. Because they haven't made any breaches in the wall, it means Apollo can't then use their breaches. So if they take all these gates and stuff like that, Apollo's army technically can't get in the city. So that's pretty smart by them. I believe Apollo is starting to move yet. Oh no, Apollo's army is not moving quite yet, but it's almost underway in, I think, in a minute's time. But as you can see, yeah, he's moving in all his crossbowmen, moving in all his archers, because for whatever reason in Attila, you can't use the enemy siege towers, which is just really dumb, in my opinion. So they are going for a very slow, methodical approach, which is totally understandable. However, they could be assaulting my front lines whilst they do this, you know. It would just make the battle a lot more enjoyable. And a lot more exciting. So this is going to be a really crazy thing over here. He's going to move these halberdiers, or these heavy billmen, over to these towers to take this gate. However, this is not the right unit to do it with. These units are going to get cut down by these arrow towers. If he had a more heavily armored unit, he could do it, or even just using his catapults to take out these towers to make it a little bit easier. But he's getting shot by all these towers, and it's going to take a while for him to actually take these gates. So you can see he's taking so many casualties. I thought about charging in my Holy Roman swordsmen over here, my men-at-arms, but decided against it. I thought that these guys would be much better, like much more useful if I, you know, just bring them back into the city and just kind of use them elsewhere. Let the towers do as much damage. I could have charged them in, but I don't know. I felt like maybe not contesting this, because all that would have happened was they would have got surrounded by these guys and probably died. And he's also bringing up his general as well. So I just thought that these guys could be used better elsewhere. And at the moment, you can see all he's doing right now is just shooting me with his missiles, bringing his catapults inside the city just to shoot me. And these men-at-arms are going to be taking a lot of casualties. I do bring these guys back fairly soon. I realise that all he's doing is just shooting and he's not going to advance. So I do bring them back very, very soon. I also bring my crossbowmen round the side, round this right flank to actually start volleying into his soldiers. And he does do a pretty crazy move right now. His Burgundy general, he's Duke. He's a Duke, right? Yeah, the Burgundy Duke has, you know, seen this. And he's just going to charge straight up at my crossbowmen, and I kind of see this and I kind of notice this, and I decide to kind of march my general down and go ahead and try and catch this guy, because if I can kill his general early on, that's going to be huge for our little advance. And I don't think he can actually see my cavalry right here, so I'm going to be running these crossbowmen back as fast as I can. He's going to get a really nice charge on them, killing a good like 20 of them, but then my Holy Roman Emperor is going to put his jousts down and go into the back of these guys as they try and escape. And I'm a little bit late because of it, and these guys are marching as well, which was a huge mistake by me. If I was running these guys, which I do now, you know, the extra second, and I could have cut off their retreat and just killed the Burgundy general right there. That was just my bad, my mistake. I should have killed him there. He should have been dead, but I was just too slow and kind of not really thinking about it. You know, if I was super try-harding, I could have probably have, you know, just done that, but I don't know. Maybe I was just not really, oh my god. Getting some huge hits with his catapults. Look at that, killing half a unit. You know, stuff like this is cool. It's just, you know, he could have been attacking. This is just a weak unit of infantry. He could have easily have just crushed through it whilst all this was happening with his infantry. That was a disgusting hit with the crossbows. I mean, with the catapults down. It's really hot in my room, so my commentary, I do apologise. I can already tell that the commentary is not the best in the world, so I do apologise. Over here, he's slowly taking this, and I don't really want to advance and try and contest it. Even though keeping this tower alive is probably really, really important, I just feel like holding this choke point is oh my god, a huge miss by the catapult, just missing. That's pretty painful. You know, these catapults are at such close range that they can really find a good hit. The English cavalry is going to march around Apollo's army and try and find a good engagement on Apollo as his army is rushing to my aid as fast as they physically can. I think the archers might also get in range. The archers are going to fall back because he does not want to lose his archers where he can. And yeah, you can see the English cavalry is going to try and flank round and try and find some nice skirmish hits where he can kind of hit and run. The city is ablaze right now, which is not good for us. The rest of the Burgundy army is advancing, but he is going to advance his gunners first and use his gunners just to shoot my pavese in shield wall. Again, it's just I know I sound extremely salty here. It's just no need for doing this. You know, he has a superior army than me. He does not need to be doing this. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me being too salty. Like, he could have easily just smashed through my pavese with his superior infantry. You know, his extra 25% funds he got. But he's just going to sit there and shoot these guys. I do then retreat them back as quickly as I realise. I also throw these men-at-arms back as well. You know, there's just not much melee engagement happening right now. And I feel like I'm almost the one having to start this melee engagement. Which is fine, you know. If this was a competitive match, I would totally understand that. It is, you know, you want to be, you know, minimizing casualties. You want to make sure you win, but we're fighting this more for fun. But yeah, sorry, that's going to be the last time I mention it. Sorry, I feel like I've been really salty this battle so far. I do really apologize. Last time I mentioned it. So we're going to carry on fighting. My pavese have finally engaged into his foot knightly retinue, along with a unit of his halberds, which is going to be pushing into the pavese. Pavese are going to be doing a good job at holding the line. These guys are made for one purpose, and that's to hold the line. So they're definitely going to be doing that. As well as that, Apollo is actually engaging with some of the cavalry through his general win to fighting some of the English, what are these men-at-arms. So this is the heavily armored elite infantry or cavalry of the English. So he's going to be dueling them right now. These dudes have heavy armor. Look at that plate compared to the Serbian male. There's the Serbian king right there. I don't know, this could not be the Serbian king. Serbian king's in here somewhere, dueling these guys. He was also throwing in some extra archers, some spearmen are going to come aid into the Serbian fight. I love the Serbian helmets as well. They're like the Epirossian helmets. They're really, really cool, like full helmets. So the swordsmen are going to come in, or the spearmen are going to come in, and hopefully this will turn the tide into Apollo's favour. As well as that, I believe... Oh no, the English cavalry hasn't marched in yet.
Nothing remains of this unit now.
So that's probably my units being shot to pieces right now. It's very hard trying to defend this city. And the English player is doing an amazing job at holding up Apollo's army. You know, because he's fighting the Serbian king right now, a lot of the soldiers are coming in to support him instead of coming to support me in the city. So the Serbian player is doing the English player is doing a good job at holding up Apollo's army. You know, if they can take the city centre before Apollo's army even gets to me, that's going to do an amazing job for them. As the English and Serbians just go off. The English cav coming in yet. The English cav is just still forming up. We go back to the city as my men desperately tried to hold off. We are currently fighting, but Pavese are fighting hard, and I'm going to throw in, or Apollo's going to throw in his unit of skirmishers, which was supporting me. They've been throwing their javelins overhead and actually doing a lot of damage. I mean, these Pavese are holding their own, and I believe we actually managed to rout a lot of the big portion of the English forces over here, which is really, really good for us. We can go ahead and push out over here and just, you know, kind of try and keep up the pressure. As well as that, the English king is really depleted. He was fighting a little engagement over here, and he's super depleted. So I'm going to kind of seize the opportunity and move my general around as I've managed to rout. Oh, it's a huge catapult hit there as well, and another one killing so many of my soldiers there. As we've kind of broken these guys, I'm going to kind of try and catch the English off guard. And there you go. Apollo's general actually died in that engagement against the men-at-arms. The men-at-arms are just so strong right now. So I'm going to try and engage his front line right here, and then use my cavalry to get around the flank and kind of just assassinate the English general. So the Holy Roman Emperor is going in deep, This could backfire, definitely, but we're going to try our best to kind of catch the English general off guard and kill him. There's only 12 men left. Again, the English king, his bodyguard is so strong. The cavalry unit is just really, really elite. But we're going to try our best to catch him off guard and just try and slay him. And kind of, because if we can do that, that will hurt the morale of the English so badly. Over here, we have the Burgundy forces moving up now. No, this is actually the English forces moving up. The English men-at-arms and the spear militia of the English are fighting against my Pavese. But again, as we mentioned over on that right flank, the English, the Pavese unit's just made for a single purpose, and that's to hold the line. By the looks of it, I've managed to rout the English general. He's being sent flying from this battle. That's going to be a huge morale shock for a lot of these units, and I'm going to move my general on over. Now, I have to be really, really careful over here, because if the English archers just start shooting my general at point blank, he's probably going to die. So I need to be really, really careful here of kind of just bringing my general back and kind of keeping him safe. Because again, we're hugely outnumbered still, even though it's pretty similar. But again, the balance of power, if you look at the men in this battle, we actually outnumbered them. But again, I had to bring a lot of crappy men, whereas they kind of went for really high quality men. So that number is kind of deceptive. And again, the English longbow fire is just cutting down these halberds. It is really, really brutal, the sheer amount of missile fire. However, they are running out on some of the infantry and missile fire. The men-at-arms, I think my Holy Roman men-at-arms are fighting up against the Burgundy men-at-arms, and we also have the English king finally being slain as well. Oh, so many awesome decapitations and bodies just getting caved in, rib cages getting smashed. These units look awesome, and this little engagement right here, again, looks awesome. So much blood as well. The arrow fire going out overhead. But the Holy Roman Empire men-at-arms are awesome. They will fight on. So it does look like that I've managed to claim victory over here. So I'm going to move my infantry over to this left flag to allow me to actually reclaim the morale point, and also help me take back this gatehouse so that Apollo can actually move his army in. And he's still fighting the men-at-arms. 42, they've only lost half a unit. The men-at-arms cavalry, the English cavalry is so strong. And I think this was one of my biggest mistakes here. I tried to rout this unit of foot men-at-arms as quickly as possible. However, this has opened me up to a lot of archer fire from the retinue or yeoman archers over here, which are going to be shooting in, and that's going to whittle down my general unit. And that's just not going to be good for me. As well as this, I also charged in a unit of men-at-arms, which we're only just really about seeing now. Which we charged these guys in to try and hold up this back flank, because I don't really want to allow the Burgundy forces to outflank. I want to keep them to as small or as few choke points as possible. However, the men-at-arms are finally going to flee, but I think they did admirably. They killed a lot of these Pavese, which are always going to be a hard task. And they're going to fall back and get the hell out of this siege, which I would not blame them. It does not look good for the defending forces right now. However, I'll let you in on a little secret. This is a super, super close siege battle. So, Apollo's army still can turn up and save the day. Hopefully it does. I kind of really need it to. And I think the cavalry engagement has finally got underway. Me killing the English general is really going to help. And we got to remember as well that because he spent so much money on these like heavy knights and stuff like that, he's had to get kind of these crappier cavalry units on top of obviously his men-at-arms. And there you go, my Holy Roman Empire was slain. He ended up getting shot to death, which was just my bad. I should have just withdrew him. It was really, really my mistake there. So at the moment, my general's dead, Apollo's general's dead, and the English general is dead. But yeah, as I was saying, like, I think he got 3 units of these mounted sergeants, 1 unit of men-at-arms, and 2 units of mounted foot retinue, which are really, really good. So he kind of got 3 good cavalry and 3 bad cavalry. So because of that, Apollo can kind of use his spear infantry just to cut down and come up behind and like slaughter a lot of these crappier horse units, which will then free up his cavalry to kind of then smash the rest of them. As well as that, routing the English king as well and killing him really help out Apollo's horses. So Apollo has pretty much won the horse engagement now. He's going to throw his cavalry into the city as quickly as possible. I am taking this flag point because I am under heavy fire right now. Even though this left side is kind of subsided, the other flanks are under heavy fire. If you look at my numbers, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4 units of infantry left. and that's not looking good for me. If they break through, because Apollo's army is so far away from me, so if they break through before I can hold the line, they can take the city centre, hold this choke point, and really, just make Apollo's army not even count. Look at the amount of bodies just laying on the floor there. Total, it's just so brutal, and they're just being added to as well. Men are getting killed every second, and they're just falling on top of their brothers. If they had some sort of weight system where you kind of had to step over the dead, that would be pretty awesome. Like, they actually kind of pile up, and you'd have to, like, oh, that dude just got stabbed on the floor. That was epic. That was so cool. Oh, I love seeing these animations you don't get to see too often. That was really, really cool. Oh, dude just got his head sliced through as well. Damn, we're going to watch this front line for a little bit, because Apollo's cavalry is coming in, but the Burgundy player uses his halberdiers to block off the back. So I think I lose one of my units of infantry. However, I'm going to resupply with some more halberdiers into this line. Over here as well, they're just kind of sitting back and just shooting me. Like, I have 4 units of infantry left right now. They could easily have just muscled their way through, but instead they're kind of just using their gunners and their infantry to just kind of shoot me to pieces instead of just throwing in their infantry, which is kind of, it's just a bit annoying, really. But oh well, that's just what happens in warfare. So yeah, as I said, he's going to use this unit of halberdiers to kind of block out Apollo's cavalry from aiding me, because Apollo's cavalry is just outside. We've claimed the gates now, so he can now move in all his army through this gate. So he's going to pour in. The rest of his infantry is slowly coming, but them engagements with the English cavalry has just made it just really, really slow. So that was a really good ploy by the English cavalry, just to kind of slow up Apollo's army whilst the infantry kind of pour in. My halberdiers are taking refuge from the gunners which are down there, and the Burgundy player is going to push up a unit of Pavese to kind of bait my dudes out. If we take a look at the tactical map, we can see Apollo's army is still a decent distance away, and my infantry is just almost non-existent. I've got 2 units there, unit here. I think I depleted. Oh no, I've got about 5 units of infantry left, 6 units of infantry. So it's not all bad. However, the Burgundy player still has his entire army left pretty much. For even throwing in some of his, what are these guys? Retinue Longbowmen, which you may think, the Retinue Longbowmen are not that great in melee combat, but they actually are. That's one of the things this mod does really, really well. It makes it so that expensive archers actually can hold their own in melee combat. They're just not going to rout straight away, which is something I really, really like in this mod. You pay a bit of extra money to get more armor and better weaponing and better training. The infantry unit or the archer unit actually kind of shows that by being decent in melee combat. And that's also another interesting thing in field battles. What you can do is you can kind of engage the main line and then use your archers, which are kind of useless at that point, to outflank and kind of resupply infantry if you spent a good money on them. Like a perfect example of that is the Gulan foot archers for the Ayyubid Sultanate. Their archer force, the Gulan archers, are just insane. They're so good in melee combat. I would take the entire army of them over anything, because they can shoot a ton of arrows and then get into melee combat. So the battle is still raging on at these choke points. Luckily, my halberdiers are holding the line. Over here, I've pushed my halberdiers into the Pavese, because that's the only way I can really hold the line here and kind of stop him from pushing in and stop his gunners from shooting, because at the moment his gunners can't really shoot, because if they do, they'll probably hit a lot of these Pavese soldiers, even though the crossbowmen are still kind of taking that risk and shooting in and taking this is fine. Like, just to make myself not sound as salty as I was, this is fine. Engage me and then shoot them. Like, that's cool, but just retreating and then just kind of give me another volley. It's just frustrating to play against, and I'm not playing this battle to be frustrated. So the cool thing is, Apollo has now brought in all his cavalry into the city. His infantry and his archers are slowly starting to get here. A big portion of his swords are still a while away, but the majority of his force is in the city, or going to get into the city very, very soon. And you can see the gunners just slaughtering this unit of Swiss halberds. And it couldn't come at a better time. Apollo bringing his army in and supporting is just going to be exactly what I needed. I need this support because my lines are starting to fall. I only have 3 units of infantry left now. These Swiss halberdiers run from the battlefield. The gunners were just too much for them, especially with the English longbowmen as well shooting into them. Are the gunners going to give them a volley or not as they run away? I don't think the gunners are going to shoot. So having Apollo's infantry here is just really going to help me out. And he just needs to pour in as much as he can to resupply my lines, because I don't know how much longer the Holy Roman Empire can hold off. On this right flank, though, we are doing an amazing job at kind of holding them back. And just look at the sheer amount of bodies. It's just a huge mass. The bodies are just littering this battlefield as my late sergeants and halberds move up. So this is kind of one of my plans as well. Even though the battle wasn't looking good for me at the beginning, the fact that I kept all my elite infantry to the end will mean that I have fresh, like, sick infantry, whereas he kind of has, you know, good infantry, but they're kind of tired. So my infantry should win out in a 1v1 or in a battle. And Apollo's going to throw in his cavalry as well to help out here. This is really good because the English player doesn't have any spears in this little engagement. So having the cavalry kind of aid us out here is going to make it so that, you know, they can kind of almost just cut down this infantry and hopefully try and rout them. You do have to be careful because the English longbowmen, or I think these might be yeoman archers, are still volleying over, peppering my infantry to pieces. You can see so many of them are just dropping. And the Burgundy player is finally pushing in the city with his Pavese infantry. So cool, the arrows just kind of hitting the ceiling as well. I'm obviously going to charge this in a second, and Apollo has also brought up some spearmen as well. And they're going to be charging. So we're going to try and get like a nice little box around on these guys as they move up. And as well as that, Apollo is just pouring in more and more infantry into the city. You can see some more of his halberds are moving up, and this is a really important unit. These guys are really strong, and it's kind of the only hope for us to kind of claim victory here is if they get a lot of kills. Burgundy are pushing over some infantry to kind of meet Apollo and slow him up whilst he tries to whittle away on the main flanks. And I think we have some engagements over here. We do indeed. I went ahead and charged these Pavese. Something I definitely could have done in this battle to give my soldiers a bit better of a thing, even though they just decide to rout anyway now, which is a bit upsetting, is I could have allowed him to come in more, so then we could have got a better square, like, surround on him. So we could have let him in, and, oh, the flaming arrows are going to be brutal into this weak unit, because, you know, Apollo's Serbians aren't that heavily armoured. So these fire arrows are going to be brutal. As well as that, the Burgundy player did push a unit of Pavese into the back of my men. However, Apollo's going to get some really nice charges into this Pavese unit, and pretty much just going to kind of make it null and void. He also gets an amazing charge into the side of these Burgundy's Pavese soldiers, and that's going to kill so many of them. He's going to lose a few soldiers on the way out, but I think this charge was just so good. He killed so many, and we get to see the awesome Serbian cav. And the archer fire coming in. Oh, yeah, he loses a few trying to pull them out, and the fire arrows are not going to help. But he's also going to manage to get a nice charge into the back of these Pavese. I think, yeah, here we go. Into the back of them. Oh, my God. He just runs through them and decimates that unit of Pavese. Saved my rear as well. You know, I just fed into the fan fiction there. Apollo, you know, protecting the back of my troops. It's going to give them, you know, an extra secure, because the longer my infantry can hold, the quicker Apollo can bring in his infantry. Because then, yeah, he's still got loads of infantry outside the city, so, you know, it's looking good for us. You know, Apollo's army is starting to get into these choke points. We've killed the English king, which is kind of making his army weak. The Burgundy player is running out of men. However, it is definitely not over yet. As you can see, there's still like another 15 minutes left of this battle. It's pretty intense. It goes down to the wire. And hopefully you guys are enjoying this. If you did, make sure to drop a like. Make sure to drop a comment. As the Pavese come up against the... I feel like the Serbian infantry is a bit, you know, outmatched here right now. At least this unit of Serbian, as that dude just burns to death. So brutal. It's just a bit outmatched right now against the Pavese. Pavese are in, like, plate armor and stuff. And these Serbian infantry have wooden shields and, I guess, weaker wooden shields and no armor. They have a helmet, though. So I guess they've got that going for them. And some of the Serbians are going to rout. However, Apollo does have his more heavily armored infantry up here, which are going to be very, very strong. You know, this Serbian heavy infantry are really good. And they look awesome as well. I love their shields. Some are like circles, some are like kite shields. Well, I guess not kite shields, but like an arrow shape, which is really cool. Really cool indeed. And Apollo is bringing in more of his infantry now. That's just, you know, just what I needed. And he's got a unit of halberds, which are going to be perfect at holding in this gap, resupplying my tired Holy Roman Empire infantry. So having, you know, these halberds here, which are going to be pushing in now, I'm just going to kind of reaffirm my line. Because I do have halberds here, but a lot of my Swiss halberds are just getting exhausted now. They've been fighting for a good 20-30 minutes. And same with my sergeants of the high period or late period. They're going to be exhausted as well. And the Burgundy infantry is just not letting up. He has finally committed all of his forces now. But he's got so many troops just in the city. Apollo does have a unit of halberds here. And he also decided to charge with a unit of his heavy infantry onto the crossbowmen of these dudes. However, the Swiss player, the Burgundy player does have a lot of his crossbows volleying in, as well as that he does also have his gunners as well, which are going to be a massive nuisance. And the AI actually bugged out here, so Apollo told them to charge onto the gunners, but because the gunners like disengaged, Apollo's people didn't go on, so they're going to get a brutal volley onto Apollo's infantry before he suddenly quickly throws them in. And there we go. Look how many of the heavy infantry just get cut down there. That is pretty disgusting. Oh, look at their guns as well. They've actually updated the gun model as well. Actually looks like a mini rifle as well now. So he's going to run away and Apollo's going to pursue. That was really brutal and unfortunate. Oh, look at that dude. He just got kicked down. That's awesome. Yeah, they're going to get chased down and just cut down. Apollo's kind of got a vengeance against them. As well as that, Apollo is fighting over here against a foot knightly retinue with some more of his lightly armored troops, so it's going to be a bit harder for them to fight right now against these, obviously these really elite, heavily armored Englishmen, or Burgundy troops. But he's going to try his best. He also has a unit right here, which he's about to charge into the back of them. He's also using some of his heavy archers as well in this combat, so again, just kind of showing, but he does have a perfect surround on these soldiers. He's got archers and it's his axemen going in, hopefully breaking these. Because if he can break this unit, then he can free up 3 of his own infantry to throw into the city. Because again, if we press K as well, so you guys can get a real good idea, we've actually managed to rout a lot of their infantry. And the balance of power is kind of in our favour. We do have more men, but again, we have a lot crappier men. They have a lot more elite men. But they do have really, really solid infantry. They have 2 units of PVs, fresh right there. They have a unit of halberds, which are moving up. They still have all these crossbows left. And he also has a unit of foot knightly retinue outside the city, along with all of this as well. And his archers, yeoman archers and retinue longbowmen. And he also has a fresh unit of foot knightly retinue. So, it's looking okay for us. It looks like there's a chance for us. However, it's still going to be difficult because a lot of Apollo's men outside the city are just not going to match up against the halberds, the foot knightly retinue, more units of the halberds. The Burgundy player's done a good job at kind of holding back his infantry for the last push. We really just need to manage to rout. If we can rout this bulk and get onto his general, then we can start talking about winning. But until we do that, it's just going to be just a slog. And again, look how many bodies are just laying on that floor. This has been a brutal, brutal engagement. I'd say at least a good 1,000 men have died here. That is just insane to think about. Apollo just has some of his heavy infantry ready to resupply when we need it. But my men at arms are still holding the line. So, that has to be good. The Holy Roman Empire have some solid late game infantry. But it was just such a shame. I couldn't really bring a lot of them in this battle because of my monies were so limited. Because we have so little compared to them. And we're playing with 40 unit stacks as well. So I want to try and get, a lot of men to show you guys. And there we go. Apollo's heavy infantry is going to push in. My heavy infantry is going to push in. And we're just trying our best to rout this as more of the English archers are moving in to this engagement. As well as that, Apollo is falling back now. He managed to rout the gunners. He cut down the gunners for their brutal volley earlier. He's going to fall back and try and defend this choke point against the retinue longbowmen. But again, it's not like it's like GG easy. Oh, we're only up against retinue longbowmen. These retinue longbowmen can probably easily take this unit of Serbian auxiliary swords. Maybe not easily, but the fact that they're depleted is probably going to be, kind of in his favour. He's finally going to rout this unit of foot knightly retinue, but it's taken him like a good couple minutes to do this, and that's just going to be brutal. The fact that, this unit has managed to hold this long just kind of shows the quality of the low tier units Apollo currently has. And it's just going to be difficult for us to claim victory. However, it's very, very even right now. We kind of have the numbers. They kind of have the quality. Look how cool that's. Oh my god, that Serbian dude looks fucking sick. Look at his cape. Apollo's going to get an amazing charge round the back of these halberdiers, and he's going to completely outflank them. But these halberdiers are going to hold. They are not going to give up this easily. Even though they're surrounded, you'd think they would just like rout or something. But they're just holding that front line. You can see Apollo is pushing round the flank again. And he's going to get a nice rear charge into them. But it's just going to be such a difficult fight. These halberdiers are okay at fighting back to back. And they're so heavily armoured as well. It's going to be difficult. Apollo has still not routed these guys for morale. I really wish I would have picked Warcry for my general. Not that it would have really have mattered because he died pretty early on. But having like a Warcry right now would have meant that this unit would have routed. And they look like they've kind of formed a really cool triangle right now as they try and hold back the sheer massive Serbian infantry. And there we go, though. The Burgundy infantry is finally going to rout. If we go back to the fight over here, Apollo's halberds are holding firmly, but now they're going to start getting overwhelmed by the Foot Knightly retinue and the Burgundy halberds over on this right flank. My infantry routed. However, the English infantry are definitely starting to run out of soldiers. They have some more Pavese, like a fresh unit of Pavese, which is going to be so important in this engagement. But, you know, a fresh unit of Pavese, you know, is going to do a lot of damage to this unit of Serbian auxiliaries. And he's also going to throw in his general as well, which is extremely risky. If we get a kill on the general, that's going to claim victory for us for sure. That's going to rout. But he does need to break this unit of halberds over here, and he's going to do a good job. He's going to seize the gap. The Burgundy player is going to charge through and get a nice charge on the back of these halberds. That's going to be brutal for our defense. Apollo is pouring in as much infantry as he can. He also remounted up a unit of his cavalry now that the halberds are engaged over here. And he's going to be using that to actually get in the back of these infantry over here and try and get the general. The Burgundy general again is going to be charging onto these weaker Serbian units, which is going to be brutal because these Serbian units just aren't equipped to deal with the general. Yeah, as I said, me and Apollo had to bring a lot less heavy infantry because we get less money. And by the looks of it, he's going to also be pushing for another unit per piece. This is exactly what the Burgundy player needs to be doing to claim victory today. He needs to bring these guys forward and kind of just outflank these halberds as best he can. Over here as well, the auxiliary Serbian infantry are fighting hard against the men-at-arms. If they can break these men-at-arms, that'll free up an entire unit of infantry and just use that. But again, just look at the bodies. That is just brutal. Look at that. That just spreads across this entire choke point. Insane. He's going to get another really nice charge off on Apollo's infantry. As well as that, he has the men-at-arms coming in the back of these auxiliary Serbians. That's a really nice move. You know, just using their numbers to their advantage in this area. You know, we only have one unit here. They have a couple units. And they're going to be using their numbers as best as possible to get a nice outflank. And just charge into the back. And I can never get sick of this. Even though it's against me, I never get sick of these men-at-arms in the back as well. Look at that one dude just charging into the battle line and killing him. My God, that one soldier. He's just causing a massive gap. And the Serbian general as well is moving in. I mean, the Burgundy general, sorry, is moving in and just, you know, ricocheting a lot of these men. I think that's going to be it for this Serbian swordsman. No, they are fighting on. There we go. They've just routed now. It's not the end though. We got more men pouring into the city, and this unit of halberds is still surviving, even though it got, you know, completely surrounded. It managed to rout the frontal unit. The archer fire coming in, it's just not routing, which is just a real pain because it means it's holding up an entire unit of Apollo's infantry. Apollo's pouring in more infantry. We're just trying our best to kill the Serbian general. And Apollo is using his cavalry to do so. He's charging it forward to charge onto the Serbian. He's using his fire arrows to try and rout it. Because, you know, at the moment we see that we do not have the quality here. So we're using our superior tactics to try and kill the Serbian general. I mean the Burgundy general. I do apologise for me misspeaking. It's been a long day and it's really, really hot in my room. So we do manage to rout the Burgundy general. But again, Apollo lost a lot of his heavy cavalry because of that. So maybe that wouldn't have been so optimal. Maybe Apollo should have, or we should have as a team decided, because we were both talking at this point about what tactics, because I don't have any men left. So I'm kind of giving Apollo, you know, like, should you do this, should you do that, kind of giving him ideas. But maybe as a team we should have used Apollo's Serbian cavalry a bit better. Maybe just to kind of break the units over here. Because if we broke the units over here, we could have then maybe reformed, you know, charged these Pavis or something. But this battle is still so close, as you can see. We go to the balance of power. You know, it's not looking as great for us, but the man count is still really similar. And morale could really change this battle at any moment. We could claim victory, we could lose. Yeah, Apollo is still fighting these halberds. It's just brutal. If these guys routed, Apollo can move his men in, so he just needs to hurry as soon as possible. His unit of halberds over here are doing an amazing job against these foot knightly retinue. If he can rout these guys and they're not happy, you know, you can see their happiness in that little tab thing. Things could go pretty well for us. As well as that, a lot of these soldiers over here are routing. However, the Burgundy player is moving in a fresh unit of Pavis, which is just kind of brutal right now. Really, really brutal. Apollo's halberds are just doing a good stand. You know, if we can win this battle, these halberds have to claim victory here and kind of turn around the face of the fresh unit of halberds coming into the battle. So we'll stay on board with this unit for now. And they're going to turn because the men-at-arms and the Pavis, these bloody men-at-arms are actually going to turn and try and charge the halberdiers. So Apollo took the idea to actually turn around his halberdiers because this foot knightly retinue unit isn't as deadly as these men-at-arms. So he's going to decide to turn around and try his best. As well as that, the Burgundy player does also have a fresh unit, or not a fresh unit, but a unit of halberds he's also moving up. Apollo does, however, managed to rout all of these footmen at arms and these foot knightly retinue. I think there's also a unit of foot knightly retinue there. So he's going to reform. So, you know, we still have a chance in this battle. But his archers are fighting. The halberds are still holding. They've been wavering for so long. The archer fire coming in and trying to whittle down these halberds as best as possible. And Apollo is falling back so he can't get outflanked to this little corner. And he's going to try his best to hold there, as he just steps over as all of my dead Holy Roman troops here who are shot to pieces. They're going to form up, destroy these barrels, because why the hell not? Archer fire still coming in. And this is kind of like the last stand of the halberdiers. But if Apollo can break this unit over here, which is still going on, maybe he can then outflank and victory can still be ours. Because again, all we have to do is rout them. But everyone's general was dead, so really, the morale could go either way. These archers are about to get charged by some more Pavis, which I imagine are just slaughtering these archers. The archers shouldn't be doing too bad, because normally you would think if there was an archer/spear engagement for this long, that the archers would just rout already. But the archers have managed to hold their own. They've not done bad whatsoever. But now they've been outflanked, they're going to go ahead and run, which is not good. However, Apollo has finally managed to rout these halberdiers. So it does free up an entire unit of his infantry, which are rushing as fast as he can to the city centre to try and hold back this final stand. As well as that, Apollo does have one more unit of archers left. They're going to be volleying in. And they're going to be falling back as best they can. Again, let's just take one last look at it now that we can actually see the amount of dead. Look at that. That's just brutal. Might even put that as my thumbnail. Just so much reckless hate. So Apollo's remaining infantry are going to be pushing up. His halberds are going toe-to-toe with the Burgundy halberds. But it looks as if the Burgundy halberds are actually a bit longer than Apollo's. So they have a bit of a range advantage, which I guess is good for them. Apollo's archers are falling back as his infantry charge in. And at the moment, they're just getting cut down. They're just no match for the heavily armoured Pavis. If they were fresh and fully strength, maybe they would be. but it's not looking good for me and Apollo. It does look like that the joint forces of Burgundy and England are going to claim victory this day as they just fight the last remaining troops. We'll watch the last famous Serbian reinforcement last stand. However, I don't know if the Serbians were quick enough. The English player did a really good job of holding up the Serbian army. If Apollo managed to maybe bypass the English cavalry and get to me a bit quicker, I think the battle would have been completely different, because you see how close this battle was. Finally routing that unit. His Pavis are going to be pushing on. So yeah, as I said, you see how close this is. He literally has 2 units of Pavis left and a unit of halberds, and that's it. Like, if Apollo's army maybe could have got here a little bit quicker and I managed to hold a little bit quicker or a little bit longer, maybe keep him on the walls a bit longer and get his army closer, this battle could have gone completely different. I think Apollo's charging his last unit of spearmen, so we'll watch that and then we'll also watch this. But yeah, the battle's pretty much over. We'll also make sure at the end of this battle to look at the kills, because I want to see who has racked up the most kills, who did the Emperor proud. As they are forming up, and the Pavis are just going to charge them down again. They just don't look like they're adequately equipped to deal with the Pavis. I even love the detail on these Serbian shields, though. They have like some cloth and stuff on their hand. I guess to help it, to make it more comfortable, I guess, and also to make it so if a spear does go through there or a javelin does go through there, there's a bit more armor there. As the Pavis are charging, as well as this over on this right flank. He's going to be kind of outflanking these halberds as he moves in. God, the Pavis are so slow. Look at that. Some of them getting cut down, but once they're actually in onto these halberds, it's going to be spell the end for them. The famous last stand. Over here, the Serbians are fighting hard and true. Seems like a hopeless fight right now. But these are going to be more than enough to deal with them. So I hope you guys enjoy this battle. Me and Apollo are trying to kind of come up with more interesting ways to do these Attila battles. Ways where we kind of have these cool like goals for the battle. Where we have reinforcements turning up. And also, this was a large army battle. The enemy didn't really kind of use that to their advantage. They kind of just got these really elite troops. So maybe next time we'll try for a much larger kind of battle for weaker troops, because at the moment everyone kind of just brought the best troops, or at least they just brought, as you can see, just these men-at-arms, retinue, men-at-arms, just really elite troops, whereas kind of, these are like 7 units of my weakest troops. I also did bring some elite troops, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, look how long that replay was, 1 hour and 10 minutes, absolutely crazy. So yeah, if we look at my army first, my men-at-arms doing okay, one of my Pavis doing really well. One of my unit of late sergeants doing good, and a unit of mercenary Swiss halberds doing pretty decently. If we look at the Burgundy force, their handgun is doing good, cavalry doing pretty good, men-at-arms, again, just such a sick unit. And we just didn't really have the funds to deal with the amount of elite units they brought. The English player, his archers obviously doing well, and his cavalry doing pretty well as well. So cool, I hope you guys enjoyed this battle. It was a pretty lengthy cast, so for those of you who stayed to the end, I salute you. Make sure to drop a like and a comment if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time, and fish out.